Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing a breakdown of 26-minute demo gameplay of Dying Light 2. Now this is like the third time I'm recording this video because the first time when I recorded it I deleted the footage by mistake, and the second time my software crashed, and the third time is what you are listening to. So yeah, this video took me really long to make. At the same time, this video is gonna be longer than my usual videos because the gameplay itself is 26 minutes long, so breakdown of that gameplay will definitely be longer. Alright, let's start with the video and talk about the demo. So in the demo, you see a mission in which the city is on brink of destruction because the drinking water is about to end, and without the water, people won't survive. Also, to bring water to the city, they need to ask the colonel, who can actually solve the drinking water problem. But the colonel actually has a bad reputation, and he actually leads a group called Renegades. Also in this demo, Frank uses his status to actually call a meeting between the Renegades and the officers from the two main factions that actually operate that city. So in the meeting, our main protagonist Aiden is also invited, and now he's just about to go join the meeting. Now finally the demo starts and you see Aiden Caldwell trying to turn on the taps, and by looking at his health and movement, it looks like he just arrived from a mission and he's actually really exhausted. So since there is no water left in the city, the taps won't work, and after that you see Frank calling Aiden, and at the same time Aiden starts getting all these weird seizures and his hands start shaking. And looking at the scene, you must think, well, Aiden is infected or something. Well, that's not true because he's actually getting all these seizures because of being exhausted. Well, you might ask how I know this. Well, because all of his lights on his biomarker is green, which means he's not infected. Also, when he gets out and meets Frank, Frank offers him some water, and then you see Aiden's health increasing as soon as he drinks that water. His health, stamina, both increase, and now he's like talking even more properly. So it's crazy how you actually get exhausted in this game and you need to drink water. Now for people who have seen E3 2018 gameplay, you might remember that the devs actually talked about how the running water will actually increase the morale of people and will help you replenish your energy on the go. So maybe this is one of the examples of what you can do in the game and why water is so necessary. Now in the same scene, you see a store with a board on the top that actually says weapon deposit. Now that means you can bring weapons from outside and deposit it here, which will give you rewards like in-game cash and other stuff. Basically, you are just selling a weapon, something you have already seen in previous games. So in short, you're actually looking at a store. Now you see Aiden walking forward, passing many survivors who have an icon next to them that actually suggests that you can actually interact with them and listen to their stories or get a quest from them. Also on the right, there is a singer performing her last show, and by looking at the whole room, you might have realized that there's actually electricity here, but not everyone in the room is actually utilizing it. The electricity is used to turn on UV lights and some other normal lights, and also for the singer's microphone, including the speakers. Also, some things to mention here is that there are some batteries around, so that could be one way to actually get electricity in the base. Also, during the moment when you meet Matt, you see that in the background there is a signature weapon of Aiden, the Last Hope weapon. You see it hanging on the wall, and I wonder why it's there. Also, it feels like something you get later when you actually make a certain choice in the game. Now the demo progresses and we go outside for the meeting, and when Aiden opens the door, you see this beautiful city with old ads poster and stuff hanging on the buildings, and this part of the city is actually called District 2. And if you're wondering how many districts are there, well, the city has 7 districts and this is the second one. And trust me, it's not a small district. Now in the same scene, you actually see Renegade's truck actually coming for the meeting, and you must have noticed those lamps with solar panels, and I wonder if it really works or not, because during the night I never saw it working in any other gameplay. But we haven't seen any night gameplay yet, so we can't really say if it works or not. Now we fast forward and the meeting is going on and something goes wrong, and boom, Frank is shot. He's on the ground, confirming one thing, that we have got guns in the game. Now Aiden jumps on the enemy with the finisher rain death move, and then you see this new improved combat mechanics, and to be honest with you, it looks amazing. Also, the new feature in the game allows you to actually trigger the weapon mod whenever you want. So my weapon can work like a normal machete, an unmodified machete, but when I want, it can also activate shock effect or any other effect like impact we saw in this demo. Yes, that modification was impact modification. Now when we are done with the combat, we see Frank lying down in the hands of Matt, and you can tell by the voice of Frank that he's actually trying to tell you something, but Matt cuts him off and tells Aiden to go for the bandits and not care for Frank, as he says he'll take care of him. Now you get a choice here to either help Frank or leave Frank alone and go for the truck. So you choose to leave Frank and go after the truck. Now as you may have guessed, it's time for some really cool parkour moves. The first few moves just looks amazing as Aiden makes his way on top of the building. When you actually get on top of the building, you see this garden where the crops are grown and the food is gathered. I feel like pumpkin is something they all like and are growing in large numbers because it's literally everywhere in the map. Everywhere in the district you go, you see this pumpkin. Also on top of the building, you can hear some chicken in the background, which tells you that there are actually animals in the game. And also you can hunt them and even capture them. Best will be to actually hunt them for skins and meat for in-game good stuff. Now as soon as you leave that place, you enter no man's land, and from there you're trying to get a proper look at the area so you can find the truck. You can see some tall buildings in the background, and then Aiden looks on the ground and he actually marks a group of bandits, which also unlocks a new objective and quest for you to complete. But there's something really cool you might have missed in the background. There's actually an arena in the background that looks like Haran Stadium, the Bozak Arena from Dying Light. Now this might be used later for a similar DLC, or maybe it's just a placeholder. You never know, but I feel like it will definitely be used in the later game for something. Now when you finally find the truck, you actually do something really crazy. You actually use your new grappling hook to swing from one place to another, and while you do that, in the midair you actually open your paraglider. This is a new gear that Techland announced, and you see this in action. It looks amazing. Now the crazy part about the grappling hook and the paraglider is that both actually consumes a lot of your stamina. So if you are on a paraglider, then you might want to land quickly because you will run out of stamina really quick. So if you're in the air and you're out of stamina, you're most likely going to fall to death. So might want to land pretty quickly. Now Aiden is back with some more parkour moves. Aiden does the fan favorite move, the dropkick, and jumps on different railings that actually has a really good physics to it. This is something that was missing in the first game, objects having physics. It really looks crazy in Dying Light 2. And there's one thing a lot of people were complaining about, how the parkour looks weird in certain places. They said it looked like Aiden is jumping on the moon. Literally looks like he's hovering for a second, like flying in the air. And to be honest with you, I don't really agree with this, because in this parkour scene, every single jump is manually being done. So the character will definitely stop if you don't press the button. So let me give you a really simple example. If Aiden moves slowly, it's gonna look like he's actually hovering and he's on moon or something. But if you do that same parkour but faster, it will look completely different. Remember, Aiden is better than Kyle Crane in parkour, so his jumps and parkours will be much smoother when compared to the first game. Now you jump onto another building and try to enter through the door, but for some reason you don't do that and go through this broken wall part. And I wonder why Aiden never did a tackle move, because that was something available in the first game. But later you actually see him enter the room and then tackle the zombie. But this is actually a different finishing move that is actually developer's favorite, and to be honest with you, this move looks really crazy. But I gotta say this, the blood looks like ketchup. It looks so fake. The game trailer had better blood effects, but the demo blood looks a bit weird. Now I feel like this is because of the RTX mode, but who knows, maybe the devs will change it later on. Now look at the scene. This is the best example of fast parkour move. This scene was amazing because Aiden just did 2 walls in one go. Literally 2 walls in one go. This looks so good. And this camera shot looked beautiful, and the landing was so smooth and perfect because Aiden is better. Now you move through some zombies and do some crazy move that was removed from Dying Light, the wall climbing move. Yes, something we all wanted because it was removed from the first game. We saw it in the gameplay, but that was never added in the first game. So you see Aiden doing the wall climbing which looks beautiful, and I hope it doesn't get removed in the final version of Dying Light 2. Now, Aiden finally is so close to catching the truck, but then he enters a building and then the floor breaks. As soon as the floor breaks, you fall down in a dark zone, and as soon as you enter the dark zone, you see this meter show up on top of you. Now that meter, if you're wondering what it is, well, that meter will show you how much immune you are to the virus. It's your immunity level. So the more you stay in the dark zone, the more you will lose your immunity. And once your immunity is out, you will get infected, which means you will die. Now in the dark zone, you see there are so many zombies. All of them are night walkers, and few of them jump on you like volatiles, but they're not volatiles. I'm not sure what they are, but they are not volatiles. Rest of the zombies hit you like the virals, and the other ones are just like biters. And as you can see, most of the zombies are hibernating in the dark zone, something we've seen in I Am Legend movie. Now when you try to find a way out of the dark zone, you come across more night walkers, and to escape them you use your UV light, which actually has a new animation and a new sound effect when you turn it on. Also, one thing you might have noticed is that you actually see the remains of other survivors on the ground. This is a really good detail because the skeletons are lying in the dark zones. This shows the outcome of entering the dark zone. So there might be other survivors who might have tried to enter this place, and this is what happened to them. So a detail that was added to this dark zone was just amazing. Really props to Techland. Now you go further in the dark zone and you actually slide through a door, and the door gets shut down when you actually put the wooden stick that was actually holding the door. Now this is done to prevent the zombies from actually following you, and you might get some time because the door is blocking them. But that idea actually doesn't work for a long time because the zombies break that really easily and they enter the room. Also in the same scene, you're trying to open the door to go outside, but basically you just run out of stamina because probably you don't have enough points put in your stamina skill to open the door. Also, you are almost halfway down in your immunity level and your biomarker is now glowing red. One of the light is actually red, so that's a bad thing for Aiden. Also, when you get hit by another zombie while entering the elevator, you see that your biomarker now has 2 red glowing lights, and half of your immunity is now gone, completely gone. Now you're trying to look for a way out in this dark zone by going on top of the building. Now when you do a vault, you actually see a small Easter egg at the right side, a poster that actually shows Dying Light game with a discount tag. The ad shows a computer shop selling the game on discount for a limited time. When Dying Light 2 demo was released, Dying Light actually got a discount on all platforms, so maybe this is a reference and it's a really cool Easter egg, so something I wanted to show you guys. Now you move further and try to climb the ladder, and you see your biomarker now has 4 red lights, and when you try to climb, the zombie grabs you and your immunity starts decreasing quickly. But then you use something really cool, UV flare. A new type of UV flare, which is basically a UV light in form of a flare. This is not the normal flares, the military flares you get. This is a different one. This is an electronic one, I would say. It's a light that works like a flare. Now when you turn on this UV flare, you actually see all the zombies cover their face, and your immunity meter actually increases, and your biomarker, which was almost going red completely, is now completely green. It's all green. All the lights on the biomarker is now green, which means you're no longer in danger of getting infected. Now you're finally out of the dark zone and the chase continues. You jump and try to catch a ledge, but fail and then fall in front of a zombie who tries to grab you, just like a biter from the first game, and then you punch him. Just looks like the first game. There's nothing new here, but it's crazy. The zombie definitely looks way better than the first game. Now you do some crazy parkour jumps on the metro train and swing on the ledges, and finally jump on the truck and knock the enemy off. This scene was really beautiful, and then finally when you enter the van where the driver is scared as fuck, and you get an option to either threaten the driver or to kick him out of the truck. Kicking him off means you will have to drive the vehicle yourself, and you have to find the place because it will not be that easy without a guy actually telling you where to go. So what you do in this demo is you actually decide to threaten him and tell him to take you to the castle. Now this scene is also interesting because while driving, you see some animals on the street. You see a deer roaming around, which again confirms that you have animals in the game and you can hunt them. Because while driving, you see that other people have actually hunted them too and are carrying them and are bringing them back to the castle, either for the food or for some resource. Now we have finally arrived at the Renegade's base and you're about to enter in. But now remember, you could have gone for the other choice and that would have resulted in you actually getting into the base by using the stealth approach. It will be really difficult. You have to kill people and you have to sneak your way to enter the castle. But since you have the driver who knows the secret code, you enter the base without any issue. Now the Renegades has UV lights outside because there are survivors living there. Kids and families are living in the base, which is why Aiden was confused and wanted to talk to the colonel. Now you try to enter the castle silently and you must have seen this graffiti all over the city. Memento Mori or Memento Mori, whatever the name is. This is actually a song and this name of the song is written everywhere in different fonts and everything in different location of the map. So I don't know why this is written here. Maybe the song is there in the game or something. But yeah, it's all over the place, all over the district. So something I wanted to mention here. Now after climbing the castle, you get a call from Matt who tells you that your friend Frank is dead. Now that thing actually triggers Aiden and he goes on a killing rampage. You see Aiden taking down enemies and you can see the new animation looks amazing where Aiden tries to cover enemy's face and suffocate him to death, and it's a really cool finisher to be honest with you. Now Steve, the guy who was driving the car, actually raises the alarm and now you have to enter the castle as soon as possible. So what you do is you actually kill literally everyone who comes in front of you. You see different moves and you see different weapons in the background like hatchets, machete, bow and arrow, even throwing axes in the background. So that's something you've already seen in the first game. So you know those are making returns because it's just common weapon. Also in the demo you can see a new use of grappling hook where the player uses his grappling hook to pull the vent and enter it. This is done to escape the fight and to sneak your way into the castle. Now after all that, you enter the pump room and ask for Colonel, and then Colonel arrives. Now when you have a conversation with Colonel, you come across some more weapons, batons, machetes, mace, and a new weapon called Scorpio. Also the girl in the background playing piano is actually named Anna, who is also working at Techland, so maybe it's just a reference or maybe I'm just assuming a lot. Now during the conversation you finally reject Colonel's offer and the fight starts and you use your grappling hook to pull a water drum down on enemies and run towards the enemy who has the Scorpio weapon. You knock him out, steal the weapon and then use it against your enemies. The weapon is really overpowered. It's a one shot in literally every single enemy. But this has limited ammo, so now you run out of ammo and what you gotta do is you gotta flip it and use it as a two-handed weapon. This is why Scorpio is such a unique weapon and this is something you cannot carry with yourself or cannot store in your inventory or your stash. Also in this particular scene you use the grappling hook with different combos and you actually do a ground pound with a two-handed weapon on your enemy and then fight a human goon who has a modified two-handed weapon. And when you're done taking care of him, you now look for the pumps and you turn it on. This pump mission kind of reminds me of the following mission where you do the similar thing. Turn on the pumps, go for the main valve, release it so it doesn't blow up the city. Now you try to find the main valve and run towards it, and to be honest with you, I seriously wonder how people actually enter this place because Aiden just did a crazy parkour move to reach to this place, so I wonder how the normal people actually get here. Now after opening the main valve, the pump starts again and releasing the water breaks the dam, so now you can no longer revert this choice. Turning on pumps reveal a new place, new quest and new enemies for you to discover. When you're done watching the demo, you realize that the Colonel was right and the place was actually flooded for a reason. The zombie hand that you see at the end is actually called Drowners, a zombie that is from Dead Island and the creature which is from Witcher 3. These zombies do look different, but they do the same thing as their name says. They drown people, so they drown you. The demo ends here with Peacekeeper faction running towards the castle to gain control over the place, and then the zombie hand made a lot of people think it's the Night Hunter which is coming out of the mud. Well, guys, it's not the Night Hunter. It has been confirmed by the developers that this is actually the zombie that is called Drowner. It's a Drowner zombie. So guys, hope everything is clear. Hope I didn't miss anything in the video. If I did, let me know in the comment section, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section, and I'm gonna see you guys in my next video. Good night and good luck.